Hello, Planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations as always. You've made your way to the Buffington Post.
You are invited!
Alright, Planet Earth, so today it's time for another recap and review for Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, so please reach into your super gay Buffy bag and pull out your preferred copy of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, issue number 3, It's a House Divided. Now, if you'd like to skip to the review portion, you can look in the description below, there's a timestamp. So before we get into it, previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy's life was like getting pretty cushy and settled in after she hammered down the new rules of magic between seasons 10 and 11, but at the beginning of the season, this dragon came into San Francisco, it brought this whole tsunami with it, thousands of people died, and everybody was like, okay, magic is scary and crazy, and we need to do something about it. So the people of the United States are like, I know what we can do. And there's all this demon phobia and magic person phobia, everybody's just looking at the vampires and the slayers and the witches and the demons and just casting this whole blanket over them, thinking that they're all responsible for this crazy tsunami situation, and they start turning on everybody.
Those goobacks are taking our jobs!
And with the outcry of people against the supernatural community, they basically are like, hey. And so that's what's happening. The government is now rounding up all of the supernatural beings.
We're rounding them up.
And that's what's going on.
Exactly.
That's what you need to know, and so without further ado, let's jump into Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, issue number 3, It's a House Divided. Here we go.
Let's tell it like it is and how it could be.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
The chores,
The stores,
fresh air.
Times Square.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, city life.
Green Acres, we are there.
Off the top, I really like both of the covers. I actually prefer the Rebecca Isaacs cover to the Steve Morris cover just because, I don't know, Rebecca Isaacs has been having a lot of fun with the variant covers, and I like the kind of mini sketches that we get from them, and I think it's really cute. So, I like this one, but I like this one too, it's not bad. So the issue opens up on this couple that's walking down the streets of San Francisco, and they're obviously trying to keep a low pro and stay safe because there's all of this civil unrest with all the magical creatures and all this extra, right? So Jordan, the not fun slayer that we met in the last issue, she comes busting out of nowhere, she tackles this dude, turns out he's a demon, and she's like, you're coming away with me, you ignored your orders to go into the safety zone, so now I'm gonna send you to the safe zone, and his girlfriend is kind of pleading with Jordan hey, you can't do this, he lives with me, this is no different than discriminating against interracial marriage, and she's like, if you want to keep spouting off at the mouth, I'll send you to jail, honey. So Dawn and Xander, they come upon this scene and they're witnessing the injustice that's happening. This demon, he didn't do anything. He's obviously living a super cozy life with this chick, and here he is, they're just rounding him up. So because Giles died and came back to life, and he's now in this 13-year-old body, and the government knows about him because they had to set his affairs back in order, they have bartered with this guy to basically wipe away Giles' identity and give him a legit clean identity, but then he starts trying to run the price up on them, and Buffy and Giles are not putting up with that. So demons, really need his help right now, and he's trying to scam folks, and Buffy's like, you can't do this, it's totally wrong, and he's like, look, with the world changing the way that it is, you're gonna start needing to be a lot more like me if you want to survive. So Xander and Dawn both get certified as normal people because apparently the monks did a bang-up job on creating Dawn's identity. So Willow's situation is if she doesn't work for the government, then they are going to put her into the safe zones that are not internment camps. But Willow's like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the internment camps because there are people there who need me. Like, they need my help. Like, she brought people into Wicca, and some of those folks have already been taken off to the not an internment camp. And Willow knows that they're not going to be able to defend themselves against the monsters and the other baddies that are in there, and so she's willingly going to go. So the only way that Giles, as a 13-year-old, is going to be able to, like, hide out in society right now is if he goes to school, and he thinks it's going to be like whatever hunky-dory being a student in the United States public school system. But, you know, they remind him that high school sucks, and then he's like, oh, maybe I should go to the camps after all. So Spike went to go and talk with Dowling, but the SFPD has fired Spike in his, like, advisory capacity or whatever, and they gave him a first-class ticket to the camps. So we find out that Harmony was actually outside of the country when the, like, camps situation happened, and so she stayed out of the country, and Buffy's like, hey, Spike, you don't have to go into these camps. Like, we could run away together. I'll, like, do it to it with you. Like, we don't have to be here. So Jordan shows up to the apartment because she's there to, like, procure Willow and William the Bloody. And Buffy's like, no, that's bullshit because they don't have to leave until Friday. And she says, well, we're taking them because we thought that they might be flight risks. So get your stuff back. Let's go. So Buffy and Jordan start, like, arguing about the ethics of vampire slaying and what's right and what's wrong, and basically Jordan says, you just got weak and developed a vamp fetish. You know what they say, once you go drac, you never go back. Buffy did not like that. So Buffy and Jordan fight, but of course, Buffy wins, and she's like, don't try and tell me what to do, I made you, bitch, okay? Well then, whoop-de-doo, don't you know that Jordan has, like, some Slayers and Wiccans backing her up, and they're here. But Buffy's crew is not gonna go down without a fight, okay? So everybody's fighting in the street, and there's all these explosions and stuff, and the public onlookers are just like, oh crap, like, magic is gonna kill everybody all over again. So Spike doesn't want anybody to get hurt, so he, like, flips this car to distract everybody, and he's like, look, I'll surrender, I don't want anybody to get hurt on my account, I'll go. So now, keep in mind that the Slayers are exempt from being sent to the safe zone, since they're human. But then again, like, the witches are human too, but that's another story. But Buffy basically says, hey, I don't want your Slayer exemption. If you're gonna take them, you're taking me too. Spike's like, girl, I love you, but you can't just throw your life away for me. And she says, look, I like you just fine, but this isn't about just you. What they're doing to all of these beings is wrong. It's just throwing a blanket over everybody and crying evil. And that's not what the Slayer's about. I'm a better Slayer than those girls. So Buffy, Willow, and Spike are getting ready to go off to the camps, and so it's hugs all around, but she's taking her damn scythe, okay? And it's really sad, too, because, like, Dawn is crying. We've got Giles and his little kid body. Like, what's gonna happen to him? And there's Xander. He's, like, the man of the house now. It's scary. And then while everybody's getting, like, on the buses to the camps, we see, like, one of the girls from Willow's Wicca group. She's getting, you know, put on the bus to go to the camp, too. And it's just like, reality. So then when Buffy and Spike get on the bus, they're like vampires to the back of the bus. And Spike's like, what? And then so whatever, he and Buffy go to the back of the bus and they're like trying to get some sleep. And then whoop-de-doo, they arrive at the safe zone that's not an internment camp. And it is like this huge military installation. And again, it's scary. And that's how we end the issue. So you know who I don't like? Jordan. This bitch has got me like 32 flavors of upset. Like, I don't like her. I don't like her little Slayer friends. We are now in a house divided. We have Slayer versus Slayer, which is crazy. And like Slayers versus Slayer, which kind of is nothing new for Buffy since like the end of season 8, but it's brand new in that now the government is buying their guns for them. That's a neat trick. Yeah, I don't really like Jordan, and I don't know if we can kill Slayers all willy-nilly with our scythes, because that would seem kind of bad, but at the same time, if Jordan, like, tripped and fell onto Buffy's scythe, I wouldn't be terribly angry about it. And I know we're not supposed to have Buffy killing folks, but Anyway, I really like this issue. I really loved the art. The art here was friggin' great. Like, Buffy looks great. Everybody really looks good. I'm not the biggest fan of the way that Rebecca Isaacs draws Spike, but it's whatever. I really, really love every page. Everything looks great. The action with Jordan and Buffy, like, what a great fight scene. It was great. And I mean, like, just look at Buffy. She's like, bam, with my hair all askew, but I don't care. I'm still fighting. Oh, it really does look good this year. Aside from like a few things that have gone on that we already talked about. So, but yeah, everything in this particular issue, everybody just looks so good, and it's getting crazy in the Buffyverse. It's gonna be like the mantra for season 11. Shit's cray in the Buffyverse. Yeah, shit's cray in the Buffyverse, man. I like everything that's going on here. I really do. I like that we're dealing with the fact that Giles has to get a new identity. Makes sense. I like that we see this like random couple being the victim of this kind of super racism. I like that Spike calls out the allusions to the racism at the back of the bus and whatnot. Now they explain it away that the windows are like blacked out in the back so the sun won't get to them, but still, it's a nice allusion. We get the girl who's hanging with the demon guy in the beginning. She actually says it's just like the internment camps. Like, it's shitty. And back to Giles, I like that they're exploring this whole like underground railroad system with the folks who give you a new identity and then try and exploit more money out of you. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, Buffy's like, people need help. They don't need you jacking up the prices when they're just trying to live their lives in safety and peace. Like, it's so scary. It's so scary. And it's about to be real scary. You know, they just did those executive orders to start building that wall today, girl. And, you know, Planet Earth, like, this is a joke, you know, like, it's kind of a joke, but Buffy really is talking about these ideas that we're all thinking of that are going on in politics right now, and whether or not you want Buffy to be political, like, that's whatever, but right now they are doing that, and it's, like, current events, but what it comes down to with this whole presidential election like, craziness, I mean, it's... Like, do you think I want to be up here talking about this? I really don't. But the fact of the matter is, it's not Russia, guys. It's not like the Republicans. It's us. Like, it's the people. Like, what Buffy is underscoring right now is, it's not the government coming after the folks. It's the people. This is how people behave. This is how people have decided to let society run itself, and how people have chosen to participated in society, and that's what we're dealing with Buffy right now. We are looking at the way that people respond to and behave when it comes to things that they don't understand, things that they're fearful of. And in the Buffyverse, you get the super nice gift of them being supernatural beings. But hello, Buffy's not just a supernatural being, like, she's a person, and so they're not just immigrants, they're people. They're not just brown or black or whatever they are, they're people. And like, that's what this is coming down to. It's putting us in the Buffyverse rather than putting the Buffyverse in our world. It's always been in our world, but we've never quite been in hers the way that we are this season, which, again, it's just like, you know, good job. Like, do you have a super leftist agenda, Buffy? Like, for the most part, kinda. But, I mean, at the same time, this is how people feel, this is like what's going on, and if I have to sit up here and get signs from my friends at work so that I can make my little jokes, like, I'm ride or die, Buffy. Like, here we go. And like, that's what Buffy's saying. She's like, I'll stick with you. I'm not gonna flee the country. Here I am. So here we go. But yeah, Dawn, I was wondering, like, hey, she doesn't even exist, but she exists enough to trick the government, which is good for now. Xander, we didn't have a lot to do with Xander, really, or Dawn, but the Dawn-ness of it, like, helped plot-wise as far as, like, what's gonna happen. And here's the thing, they talked about how demons have already, like, started skipping off to different dimensions and whatnot, and how some people are trying to escape the country, but it's not working out too well for them, but didn't we just nail down the rules about hopping dimensions? Like, what's going on? And we keep thinking, like, oh, Dawn, she's got this, like, portal opening powers and etc. And, like, what is she doing? Like, is she going to be able to help them get out of the camps? Like, really? Let's deal with that. That was something that I was kind of like, more Dawn, please. But yeah, not a ton to do with Xander and Dawn, but what they're used in is used well. I love this idea with Giles. Like I said, it makes so much sense, and I love dealing with the fact that Giles is a kid, and this makes a lot of sense for that. And Willow, oh, poor Willow. She's so good, isn't she? We've gone through a long time with Willow, and she's had some ups and downs, hasn't she? But here she is. She realizes, like, hey, I was preaching this word, I was preaching this method, like, magic is good, get your magic on, and now it's getting people hurt, and so she feels really super responsible for the people who are going into the camps, who really, like, she says some of them can't even conjure shit. Like, it's gonna be super scary for them, and so, like, for Willow to stand up and be like, I'm going to the camps because I'm Willow. It's nice, and it's super responsible of Willow, which they're responsible ones, right? And, you know, there wasn't a shit ton of Willow either, but again, like, what they give Willow, it's super weighty. It means something to her, which is good, because if we're gonna have this 12-issue season, then, you know, if you're not giving people a lot to do, give them something worthwhile to do. And that's really what they're doing with Willow so far this season, and I'm all about that life. And Spike, too, you know, he's like, ugh, girl, don't fight over me, like, don't get hurt over me, like, this is just a bunch of bullshit, sure, but please, like, don't do this. Like, don't get people hurt because I don't want to have to go to the concentration camp. Like, that's a good reason for people to get hurt if you don't want to get put in a concentration camp, but at the same time, it's like, meh, concentration camps, they're no fun. And here he goes, like, jumping into one because it's the right thing to do. It's super the right thing to do. And say what you will about Spike, say what I've said about Spike, but Spike's a good guy. He wants to be a good guy, and here he is. He's gonna be a good guy in the camps. And it's super noble of him to say, nope, stop the chaos. I'm a changed man. I don't thrive on this kind of stuff anymore. I'm not just gonna take my get out of jail free card. Because, I mean, like, Giles or Dawn or somebody could totally die in this fray. It's not cute. And I love the moment where Buffy's like, I'm gonna do what's right. And Spike's like, you know, I like you. It's so cute. And they have a little scene where they kiss, and it's super cute. Spike and Buffy, this Buffy, it's grown on me. All through season 10, they were like, maybe we can make you like Spuffy. And they did. And Buffy, like, stand by your man, girl. She's standing by her man, I'll tell you that much. Like, Buffy, I mean, I was just thinking about it today, too. I was thinking, what are they gonna do with Buffy and Spike? And I was thinking, you know, Buffy, it's kind of like more power to her, like, just going in with her relationship with Spike, even knowing, like, it's not gonna be perfect, or not gonna grow all together. Like, it's kind of noble of her to just, like, follow her heart, even though, like, there's no telling where this relationship with Spike could go, if, like, anywhere, right? And so I was thinking about that this morning, and then reading this, it's like, good for you, Buffy. It doesn't matter if you and Spike are gonna have, like, any kind of future together. But, you know, like, live in your moment, live in your happiness, and here she is, like, again, not super happy times in the concentration camps, but she's gonna be with Spike, and more than that, she's gonna be there for the people who really need her, just like Willow, but to a grander degree, because, you know, we've got all of these Slayers in the world, but a lot of them are, like, super confused about what's right and what's wrong, and here Buffy is. She knows the difference between right and wrong, and it's super literally her responsibility to take care of this, and I just love what Buffy's doing here. Like, just being there for Spike, saying that she would run away with him and all that good stuff, and then standing up to cunt Jordan, being like, no, you can't just come in here and run people's lives. It's not the way that reality's supposed to fucking work. And so, I love Buffy, and, like, this is why we love Buffy, because she does what's right, even when it's not convenient. Like, Buffy's a good person, and, like, that's why she's our hero. And, this whole scene of, like, Buffy and Dawn, like, saying goodbye and whatnot, it's like, stop that. Like, let's stop breaking up Buffy and Dawn. Like, you can break up Spike and Buffy, you can break up Xander and Dawn. Stop breaking up Buffy and Dawn. I don't like that shit. Get them together. It's so sad, like, families torn apart and all this extra. It's just too much extra, you guys. But yeah, when stuff started happening here, it started happening. It was like, oh, here we go. You're going to the damn camps. You better fight through Jordan first. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, it was like, ugh. And I don't know. I'm really loving season 11 right now. I can't get over it. It's really good. And, you know, I could sit here and watch Buffy kick Jordan's ass all day. It's a nice little 3-page spread. I like it. That's pretty much what I thought of the issue, you guys. I must say, however, that I feel like they really missed an opportunity to use Harmony as a proxy for Kellyanne Conway. It's perfect. It would be so perfect. Like, oh, why? Why didn't you do that? But it's whatever. Let me know what you thought of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, Issue number 3 in the comment section down below. And by the way, Planet Earth, I would like to invite you to participate in my next Buffyverse discussion. I have been thinking for a while about doing this video, and I feel like the time is now. And so I'm going to spend the next week or two kind of like doing a little bit of research, etc., trying to pull up some numbers and things like this and quotes to support my argument. But basically, I want to do a Buffyverse discussion on the lack of women of color in the Buffyverse. Kind of people of color, but you know, women, you know, it's Buffy. It's about, like, feminism, etc. And we just have so few representations of women of color that it doesn't make a shit ton of sense. And so I want you to let me know what your thoughts on that issue is in the comments as well. Like, if you want to do a comment for the issue and what you thought of this issue, like do that, and do a separate comment for the lack of diversity in the Buffyverse. I think I'm going to call it Buffyverse So White, okay? But yeah, I really have been meaning to get into this, and I just don't understand why everybody's so white. Because you can draw anybody. We're in the comics now. You don't have to cast anybody. You just draw people. That's all you have to do. But yeah, Planet Earth, that's pretty much all I've got for today. I hope you're having a great 2017 so far, everybody. You can come right back here to the Buffington Post anytime for Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews, Angel and Faith reviews, The Leftovers is coming back in April. Get excited for that. I'll be here. I need to get out of here because The Magicians is coming on tonight, and I don't want to miss that. So have yourself a great day today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Stand by your man. Give him 2 arms to cling to, and something warm to come to when nights are cold and lonely. Stand by your man and tell the world you love him. Keep giving all the love you can. Stand by your man. Stand by your man and show the world you love him. Keep giving all the love you can. Stand by your man. Oh, yeah.
Joe? 730.
So the issue opens up